Jenny. How are you this morning or afternoon now?
I'm great, Nathan Dodge. Thanks so much for joining us. For our listeners out there, we want to welcome you back to another episode of Premier Research Labs podcasts, where we feature our latest products, relevant research, as well as discuss important topics that help practitioners stay in tune with accessing the latest and greatest that Premier Research Labs has to offer.
Excellent. Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. I hear we have some exciting news today. We've got a new product that we're going to talk about, Aloe Powder. So before we get to that great stuff, as R&D manager for Premier Research Labs, can you share some insights about aloe vera in general and the recent surge in popularity of this amazing botanical that has been valued and used for hundreds of years, topically and internally?
Well, first off, Jenny, aloe has been used for thousands of years.
Well, my gosh,
It's
I
native,
stand corrected.
Native to
And
the
yeah.
native to the Mediterranean area, and even a little further south along the coast of
Love
Africa.
it. I love that you know.
It has been used for thousands of years, as I said. Historically, it has been used both internally and externally. It has actually a very well-regarded safety
Yes,
profile.
that's impressive.
Yes,
Actually,
especially for how
botanical.
long it has been used. And again, used among so many various groups throughout history. The Egyptians used it. The Berbers used it, obviously. It passed on through into Islamic medicine, where it became very, very popular.
Very important.
Avicenna writes quite a bit about it. So again, it has been used for so long, and then again, it passed on into the European culture right around the time of major contact with the Eastern world. And then again, it was brought over to the Americas, where it was then naturalized essentially and cultivated here as well. And in fact, its scientific name, aloe vera, though more common, it's often sometimes referred to as Aloe barbadensis,
Yes.
as in the aloe of Barbados.
Yes.
Because that is where so much of it was cultivated for quite a long time. So yes, again, it's got a great history. And again, PRL is all about tapping into the history of botanical medicines. And so we really wanted to have a strong aloe product. There's been a massive surge in popularity in the last 20 years with aloe vera. When I was growing up, many years ago when I was a little boy, I remember aloe vera was essentially used just for sunburn.
Right,
So that was, it was a
topically.
topical
Right.
usage, and really a lot of people were not using it internally anymore. It sort of fallen out of favor in that respect.
It must be the texture.
It could very
It
well
could
be.
be,
It's a
but
jelly.
it
and
could
not
be.
everybody
It's
likes
a
the
little
jelly.
slippery,
but
but,
it has been used again. Throughout such of our history, and in a lot of cultures, they never lost the internal use. It sort of was rediscovered in the 1990s and early 2000s when people started doing a lot of scientific research on the internal uses of aloe vera.
Wow.
Trying to find out why it was that so many people for so long had been using it for things like digestive ailments.
Right.
And really just inflammatory conditions within the digestive system. So they knew there were topical uses, and they started investigating the internal uses, and there is a wealth of research that has been published in the last 20 years really detailing the mechanisms that aloe vera has in the body, the inner leaf particularly,
Inner
obviously
leaf,
the gel
yes.
itself. And that gel could be the dried gel, it could be the fresh gel. They're both very, very potent, lots of different effects. Again, we can go into so much detail, and I bet you're going to ask me about those therapeutic benefits.
I am. I wanted to say that, perhaps it fell out of normal use because of, like I was saying, the slippery texture, but that is absolutely why we need it in terms of its active constituents and the healing properties. I often refer to aloe vera as the anti-itis plant. Anywhere there's an inflamed or red tissue, irritated tissue, aloe vera seems to be a safe and appropriate choice potentially.
Certainly.
And so I find that it's fascinating, and I'm very excited because our particular aloe vera product that we're launching is unique. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, look, I wanted first to actually discuss some of the therapeutic
let me
benefits
not
that,
get too
that are
far ahead.
supported by research.
Of course, that's important
because
to know.
you pointed out that aloe vera is sort of the anti-itis. It's very well known, and again, the slippery texture, the gelaceous texture, if you will, is definitely fundamental to those effects. One of the things that we talk about in natural medicine frequently that you just don't hear much of anymore outside of the sort of herbal realm is the idea of using mucilages.
Right.
And again, using things, I always think the standard in that case is slippery elm. Let's face it.
Right.
Slippery elm tends to be the classical, marshmallow as well.
Maybe
Marshmallow
oatmeal if
root.
it's a food,
And
but,
yeah, but mucilage again. All mucilages are polysaccharides.
Yes.
And it's funny that there are actually polysaccharides that are used in what we would refer to as allopathic medicine, modern medicine, and no one really thinks about it because you don't hear about it. It's sort of that redheaded stepchild in modern allopathic medicine.
Well, would you give an example?
Certainly. So there are polysaccharides that are used actually to help with digestive inflammation, specifically in the esophageal area.
Wow.
So people who have erosive esophagitis, for example,
GERD.
caused by GERD, are often actually prescribed a series of medications that are polysaccharide based, and essentially these are often derived, believe it or not, they're at least analogs to the same compounds that occur in licorice naturally.
Oh, interesting.
So a lot of those compounds have been moved into allopathic medicine, and again, no one wants to talk about them, but they're
Sure.
used and they're very effective.
Right.
And so having things like mucilage, having these large chain polysaccharides, again, have been proven time and time again to offer not just a barrier effect to prevent
yes.
physical damage from happening, but it seems like most of them are also very well absorbed and then provide to that sort of the most external layer of cells in those different mucous membranes, provide them with anti-inflammatory effects as well. And that's really what aloe vera does. The active ingredients in aloe vera are primarily, at least the ones that most people are looking at now, are primarily polysaccharides.
Right. I find that very, and that's probably plays to its safety profile very much so.
Absolutely.
Right.
So the mannans, particularly one type of mannan called asamanin, which is, when they take out the inner leaf gel and they dry it, and it undergoes a hydrolysis, and it breaks down into these different large chain molecules, one of which is asamanin, or there are many asamanins of different length. But having these long chain polysaccharides is really being found to be very beneficial. Everything from the gums to the guts.
I agree.
It's amazing. There's so much work being done right now with
Fascinating.
oral health as well as digestive. And really, the whole alimentary canal is all related. So, you see the same types of tissues that occur throughout that entire tract.
The tissue issues.
And those tissue issues can be resolved with aloe. So again, these many of the other claims that again have definitely gotten a lot of scientific support as of late are the, again, repair to damaged mucous membranes, specifically having to do with an anti-inflammatory nature that is part of the aloe vera gel. In fact, and I know what's really interesting is some of the newest research on aloe vera has shown that these same polysaccharides in the aloe vera gel are reducing inflammation, but they're also increasing collagen production. They actually stimulate fibroblast production of collagen.
So fascinating.
Which is incredible. So Will is right. If you were to incorporate that into your regimen for collagen, so to keep up the elasticity of the skin, you also add your vitamin C in there. Make sure you're taking your supplemental collagen, and that really is a wonderful trio.
And that's just one benefit.
And that is just one of many benefits. Yes.
So that,
there's
I find
also
that pretty
blood sugar
fascinating.
control that they've found that aloe can provide, as well as control healthy blood lipid levels. And again, it's a really nutritive and functional food, which again, Premier Research Labs is entirely devoted to the idea of functional foods. We want to provide those most healthful compounds, but when we provide them, we prefer to provide them in a state that's as close to natural, so that you get something that's more of a food as opposed to just a simply isolated supplement.
Right, and I think in this particular case, I learned from you that it goes through a special freeze-dried technology, and it has been concentrated to make it more potent than your average aloe vera product. So even though it may not be as found in nature, it's actually therapeutic and clinically effective in that realm, because maybe the one scoop is the dose versus maybe 16 ounces of aloe vera juice, inner leaf, or what have you. And the other thing I was excited to see is that it is just the inner leaf, and that that therefore people who might think, oh, aloe equals laxative, will not have that experience, because it is just the inner leaf.
Right. So let's address those two things a little separately here. I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
So First off, let's start with the idea of the outer versus the inner leaf.
Okay.
So obviously the outer leaf of aloe, which again has many uses, clinically and especially within the realm of natural and herbal medicine, contains a number of compounds, mostly saponins, that can be somewhat harsh on the digestive tract
there
and can definitely produce
anthraquinones too?
and there are anthraquinones as well, and they can produce laxative effect. Again, primarily the one that we most people are probably familiar with if they are herbal practitioners would be imodin. Imodin,
Yes.
which also occurs in rheum species, which are rhubarb species.
Yes.
So it's the same compound that has the laxative effect. Well, it also occurs obviously in the aloe outer leaf. And again, the outer leaf itself is covered in a waxy compound that sort of contains all of these compounds in a big giant mixture.
It's a little more
and
of
it has its uses.
Yes.
So again, obviously, I don't want it to decry the use of the outer leaf because it does have a place in
Correct.
medicine as well.
Correct.
But the benefits that we are particularly highlighting here, anti-inflammatory nature, the soothing complex sugars that you find in that inner leaf, again, that's all there in the inner leaf. And so the process by which this aloe that we have is produced is a very complex desiccating
Right.
process, essentially.
The
What they
water's
do is
removed.
they're able to eliminate all traces of the outer leaf, preserving just the inner leaf.
Excellent.
And then they concentrate it down to approximately 200 to 1. So it's a very concentrated source of these asamanins. Well, again, eliminating imodin and aloine, which is another compound that can be somewhat troublesome for some people, but removing those to a point where they are non-detectable.
Right.
And we do test every lot, obviously, just to make sure.
Right.
But again, we've found no detectable level of anything else within there, and we are assuring that purity.
That's reassuring. I also read recently that the American Botanical Council's Botanical Adulterants Prevention Program, that is a mouthful, has a bulletin on the adulteration problems around aloe vera.
They do.
And Premier Research Labs is a supporter of that program, but we already paid attention to those issues.
Correct.
And so it just, all we need in the natural products world are more allies that are willing to hold each other accountable. And we're definitely found some good partners in that realm. And suppliers in this case are very top notch.
Certainly, and that's a really a great part of our R&D program at Premier Research Labs is working hand in hand with our suppliers, not just to verify their quality, their ethics, but also to make sure that when they do have issues, communication is clear.
That's
We're able
reassuring.
to find out beforehand so we don't get product that's contaminated, and then we work with them directly as well to improve their processes too. So we have this sort of give and take relationship, or rather it's a give-give relationship, I think.
Right.
And so we're able to improve overall quality, and really in doing so, I think we're really living up to our ethical standards, not just of pursuing quality to the highest degree, but also being able to work with other groups to expand the knowledge base around these issues.
Absolutely.
So that we can get more and more people on the same page,
Right.
being able to work toward higher quality, safer products for the
And that could
everyone.
even easily reach into the dental world with the research that supports the use of these particular aloe compounds being a very safe and gentle alternative to some of the mouthwashes that we have to swish and spit.
Certainly,
before
certainly.
they-
Oh yes, well, because again, aloe also does have some antibacterial properties, and particularly
Right.
mostly anti-adherence properties, which are very important again for protecting the gums and protecting the teeth.
And do you think that plays into the H. pylori issue?
Yeah, certainly,
with
certainly.
ulceration.
So again, with the anti-adherence properties that it has, it's very similar to those same compounds that you see in cranberry, which have anti-adherence
interesting.
properties. Cranberry a little stronger
Right,
in
it's very
terms of its
astringent
anti-adherence
too, so,
and it's because of the way it's processed by the body, you find more of those anti-adherent molecules within the bladder and the
Right.
elimination
It
parts of the
targets
body.
that. It
Right.
targets that area.
Whereas, it still works in the stomach. There's a lot of research on cranberry. I'm not going to do, today is not a cranberry
Right,
podcast.
correct, it's
but I
not.
could do another one on cranberry, and we may have to do that soon. But again, these same compounds that you see in a number of different plant species that have these effects are very important throughout the entire digestive tract, because you're able to then prevent overgrowth of pathogenic microbes.
Right.
And that's a wonderful thing. So it's a
all the
wonderful
way
benefit.
around. Absolutely. And I like to think of the fact that the care of our mucous membranes is really super important, because it's everywhere. It's the interface of outside world to inside world.
It really
We've got
is.
skin and then the tube within.
Yes.
It's just lined with all these really important, all those cells have really important jobs like protect, assimilate nutrients, excrete metabolic waste. Oh my
Yes.
God, you're so busy. And we just take it for granted. And then there's the Texas sun beating down on us, etc. We really need aloe, and I think it's exciting to finally bring it in. Plus, it's naturally sweetened with fortified with berries. Do you want to say a
Correct.
little bit about that? That's
Right.
delicious.
So again, I think one of the biggest drawbacks that I see to most aloe products on the market, and this was something we really wanted to address, is the fact that since there's a large consumer opinion on aloe, the raw aloe product, concerning the taste.
Okay.
So again, it's not just the texture. It seems like there's also a lot of pushback against the taste of aloe itself, which again, I think could be an acquired taste. I myself
be
don't
worse.
mind the
It could
taste
be-
of aloe.
I agree.
personally don't
Yeah.
mind the taste of aloe, and I grew up with it, so maybe that's what happened, and I was able to
Herbalist
just
for a mom, herbalist for a
exactly.
mom.
So
Love it,
so
love
maybe
it.
it just was something that I sort of assimilated in that respect, right? But the flavored aloes currently on the market that you find, the flavored powders, especially in the flavored premix drinks, they all contain various excipients that are just
Not
totally
natural.
undesirable and unnatural. They have artificial sweeteners or a massive amount of sugar.
Right.
And you're really taking a healthy product and you're making it very unhealthy by doing this.
Absolutely. Thinking that it's going to increase compliance.
Right.
Who cares if you're giving us more sugar?
Exactly. And so what we really wanted to do at Premier Research Labs is create an aloe product that maintains the flavor, that draws people back, keeps patient compliance very, very high. But again, tastes great
Right.
anyway, and you could drink it not necessarily even for I need to have
it doesn't
medicinal
even
benefits,
taste
but
like
just because
medicine.
it's a refreshing
Exactly.
drink, and it's very refreshing in the heat, mind you. It's a wonderful thing to make some of this and ice it.
Absolutely.
But we decided to source the highest quality berry juice powder that we could, something that is made as purely as possible. It's dehydrated berry juices. You get literally you're getting berries.
Right.
That's what you're getting. You're getting berry
Right.
juice.
It's amazing.
And that's what you have. So we're not adding sweeteners in there. We're not adding sugars. We're not adding emulsifying agents.
Right.
This is just really a set of natural products. Berry juices mixed together and dehydrated,
Mm-hmm.
aloe inner leaf powder dehydrated, and put together in a nice scoopable format so someone can just take a scoop very easily, put it into their water or their juice, however they want to mix it up,
Mm-hmm.
drink it, and get the benefits all day long.
Love it. That's what we need is ready to use. And that's what I love about a lot of our latest functional food type stir-in products. Very easy to use.
Yes.
And I wanted to also get your opinion on aloe's reputation as a functional food briefly, because I was shocked to know that it provides nutrients in and of itself. And so it's got the awesome phytochemicals
Yes.
and the polysaccharides, but it seems to be actually boost antioxidant potential.
It certainly can. It contains quite a few different antioxidants, actually. There's a lot of naturally occurring components in aloe that are
It might be
not
more
as-
amazing than garlic. I'm sorry.
I think both are amazing, and they each have their own place, and they're
Yes, you're right.
complementary to each
Absolutely.
other. You know, you can definitely mix the two of them together to get a
With the
really
berries.
just a massive beneficial effect to the body, because you're going to get garlic's antimicrobial and its
Absolutely.
lipid improving properties, as well as the stimulation, because garlic is a really nice stimulant as well.
Right.
Without
It's kind of
taking-
hot too. And so with
Yeah.
aloe, it kind of like
And aloe is very
dampens
cooling.
it just a little
Yes.
bit and gives you the best of both.
Absolutely.
So,
And
look
so
at
again,
that.
as
We
a
just-
functional food, aloe has been used again for thousands of years
Right.
as a food item as well. It wasn't just used for medicinal purposes, but actually as food as well.
Which I find that we need to wake up and diversify what we get our nutrients from.
Certainly.
Because we tend to be on the same channel a little
Yes.
too often and not very diverse.
Yeah.
And this is a very easy way to bring aloe into your diet.
Definitely a very delicious way.
Delicious.
And easy,
The other
and
thing I
delicious,
liked
and
about with the berries is that you get extra polyphenols, you get the astringent nature of toning the tissues
Yes.
of the gut and the gums potentially,
Yep.
right?
Well, again, we
So
were looking for the full effect.
it's
We
like
wanted
whole
to be
body
a complete
wellness.
package.
Whole
Yes.
body wellness for sure, which I really think Aloe is an all-star.
It is.
So you
It
did a
is.
great job with this
Well, thank
one.
you so much, Jenny. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
As a researcher and formulator, what excites you the most about PRL's berry fortified aloe powder? How do you think it's going to impact the natural products community or instill customer confidence?
Well, again, PRL, we have been the leading light in high quality supplements for such a long time. We're following that same tradition with this new product. We want to make sure we're providing the safest, highest quality, most efficacious product, and also providing something that's a wonderful experience so that it tastes great.
Yes, it's pleasant.
It's the full package, I like to say. Everything with what we were trying to produce here is the full package, and we want to be able to replace some of those not so healthy other options in the Aloe
Right.
market with something that doesn't have those deleterious effects.
Agreed. Agreed. I even tried this with diluted organic lemonade, and it
Absolutely.
was great.
Absolutely.
Very refreshing on a hot day, and
Yes.
my kid liked it too.
That's
So
wonderful.
how
And that's
about
just
that?
it. Starting young with something like this, Aloe is such a safe product that children can also benefit from it.
Absolutely, I do agree, and it's so exciting to know that you are steering Premier Research Labs in such a innovative direction, and we look forward to more interviews with you to keep us abreast of everything that's down the pipe. Thanks so much, Nathan.
Thank you so much, Jenny. It was wonderful to be here.
Thank you all for joining us today. We hope you follow us on our social media channels at Facebook and Instagram, and please stay tuned for more exciting podcasts.